Cool. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the NarikChase channel. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video, we're doing another streamlined podcast. This will be technically season 2, episode 97. We are talking about the Halo series. Sorry for the absence, guys. Got to work and life, and got all these other projects and stuff that's going on. About to finish my book. A lot of other things just happening. Be sure to check out the website. There are a lot of good updates on there, letting audiences and viewers know and followers know that what we got going on. And we'll be dropping more stuff. I was actually working on some music as well. For those who don't know, I have 3 channels now. One dedicated to the music, NarikChase Music. We have the NarikChase Podcast channel, which is what this one on, and we have the NarikChase Studios channel, which is mainly for reviews and skits and stuff like that. So if you're interested in supporting the music channel, go ahead and subscribe to NarikChase Music, subscribe to NarikChase Podcast, and subscribe to NarikChase Studios. Trying to get back on track. There's a lot of stuff that's going on right now, so army on one at this point, but it's all right. It's all right. It's a lot to go. To do that. But anyways, let's go ahead and let's talk about Halo, the series. Now, for those who don't know, Halo is one of the most prominent video game franchises in the world. It's been long running, not as long as some of the older ones such as Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man, Metroid, Legend of Zelda, Super Mario, Donkey Kong. Not as long as them, but for pretty much last 15 years. No, I'd say longer than that. Since that first Xbox, the original Xbox dropped, Halo is it's been just a name in the video game industry. Not only has it been such a prominent franchise that it's dominated the video game industry, but it's also been delved into other media such as books, comics, film, and now TV. Um, to varying degrees. The books themselves are actually really, really good. They function as proficiently as I would say the Star Wars extended universe does. There's a lot of really interesting stories, a lot of really good characters, but I'm just and I haven't read all the books. I haven't played every game, but I've played the majority of the games, and I've read a few of the books, not all of them, but a few of them. So I'm quite familiar with the franchise. I've read comics, I've seen the other movies and stuff that go on, the miniseries, I think. And so I'm very familiar with the Halo franchise. In fact, it's one of my top 10 favorite franchises of all time. Next to Star Wars. Uh, I come up with that top 10, but Star Wars was definitely one that was on the list as well. Um, Oh, Resident Evil. Resident Evil is another one. Now, it's one of my favorite franchises of all time. Resident Evil, Star Wars, Mortal Kombat, just Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog. There's just a lot of, and these are, I'm not just saying franchises because they're video games. It's not just like all around franchises, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto. But having said all that, I'm quite familiar with the franchise. Now, I am a huge fan, but I can forgive a few liberties here and there because I'm still the same guy that was like, okay, the Resident Evil films with Mila Jovovich, and I love her as an actress. I think she's really good in a lot of action roles, and I liked her in those movies as well. I think the movies are entertaining. They're dumb as shit. They don't make any fucking sense. They're plot holes out the ass. Not the best casting for some of the more familiar characters, Chris Redfield, Leon. Now, Ciela Guillory as Jill Valentine, I liked her. She's probably the best cast of anyone in the movies. I think she did a good job as the original Jill Valentine from Resident Evil 3 and Jill Valentine from Resident Evil 5. I think she did a really good job as those. But aside from going to the next step of that, what I was saying was I can forgive a few liberties. Like I said, as far as the Resident Evil films, the reason why I can kind of get past them, get past a lot of the bullshit surrounding those movies, is basically because uh, it's basically because they're entertaining. yeah, frustrating, stupid, badly written, badly acted, badly edited, badly directed, but they're freaking entertaining. There are a lot of like fun, great moments. Like I could do a top 10 list right now talking about how like some of the best moments from the series is. That just shows you just how entertained I was with it. And some of them ideas they had, even though they were stupid, were interesting in directions for the series to go and interesting takes and things like that. So I didn't really mind that. But Halo has been subject of a lot of debate in terms of adapting because of the source material, because of the main characters, the themes, the budget that need to be behind it to make sure that it is properly done. And and I and I like I said, I'm on the fence about so much about this series. It just got me so freaking frustrated because again, a part of me wants to just try to defend some of the decisions that are made in this series, and I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I just can't. I have to call it the way it is. Like Resident Evil, stupid movies. They're just entertaining. This series was just, I have no idea. And before I continue on with it, guys, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and I forgot the freaking button now. The little link button lets you know when I upload videos, so that way when I do upload them, get first notice of that. Let me go ahead and hit this because I guess it's been that long. I forgot to do this. It has been. It feels like it has been quite a while because I forgot to do some of this stuff that I normally do a few minutes ago. But anyways, just go ahead and get into it. Now the series is set in the Silver timeline, which is a new original timeline for the Halo for this original work, I suppose. I mean, it's not original, but the developers created a new timeline, the Silver timeline. Now, of course, there's in the Halo franchise have different timelines. We have the pre Covenant War, where it was basically insurrectionists versus the UNSC. Then you have the Covenant War. Then you have the Forerunner Saga, which picks up after the events of the Covenant War, after Halo 3, in which you see more like the Prometheans and stuff like that. Then you have the Forerunner Human War, which it jumps back into the past. So you can see what builds up to basically the flood, how the flood was created, the Forerunners, and stuff like that. So in this one, it's basically just taking place during the first event, the initial startup of the Human Government War. And the way it's kind of shot is it has to be in the early stages of it to some extent because even though the military side, the military faction know of the Covenant's existence and everything, a lot of the insurrectionists of the characters really don't. So I guess it's during the initial startup of the Covenant War, or maybe like a few years into it. And it's interesting, kind of the setup. But anyways, the series, of course, follows a few characters. You would think it would just pretty much follow Master Chief, but it follows a few characters. Insurrectionist's daughter, who's trying to reclaim her family's legacy after her family gets wiped out by the Covenant. You have the Master Chief, who is trying to, I guess, find his humanity after being exposed to this artifact, this special artifact, which he damn near seems to be the only person to deal with next to this other human character named Maki, who is a human character that was raised by the Covenant. There are other things, but those are pretty much the three main storylines that's going on in the series. Now, there's a few things that the series does do right, and I can give it that. There's a couple of things that I did really appreciate. For one, the Spartans, the look of them, the feel of them, just the practical aspect of them looks freaking awesome. When they're walking, the footsteps feel very heavy. The way they maneuver in the suits make it seem like the suits are not too heavy to where they can't maneuver in them, but they look heavy. Uh, the look and feel of them, the impacts, that just looks absolutely awesome. The designs of them, highly detailed, very just just the creative look behind them. They fit, and also the way that they look has that special quality to them to make them seem like they're reflecting the personality of the person that's wearing it. Really enjoy just straight up the look of them. Also, when you look at like the UNSC, the uniforms of the soldiers, the warthogs, the weapons, the vehicles, just pretty much everything that they've done with the physical and special effects concerning the overall look looks freaking fantastic. And that even goes extends itself over to like the Covenant when you see the elites, the brute, the grunts and stuff. Yeah, I can say some of the CGI is spotty here and there with those characters, but overall they still look really, really, really good. Really fantastic. There are some really good shots, close-up shots too, of some of the elites. I would say hands down the best that they did with the Covenant overall were the prophets. The prophets look extremely well done. It looks extremely realistic. Their attention to detail is just on point. So visually, the practical, the special effects, all of that stuff, I can go ahead and give it to the series. It completely nails it. Even I know people had a big issue with, but even Cortana, I like Cortana. I think Cortana's is a great character. I think she is freaking awesome. I think that the look of her is pretty cool. I know a lot of people were just put off because of just the way she looks and everything. I think I think it's a good evolution of the character because if you think about it, when you look at the other characters, when you look at her, she evolves, she changes her look pretty much every video game. So I think this is actually pretty cool, and the human aspect of it looks pretty cool as well. So I have no problem with the Cortana aspect as well. Um, Again, and probably the biggest plus to the series that makes it feel like Halo, which I'm quite sure you've heard plenty of times from other people, is the action sequences. There are three major battles in this episode and this series. First episode, I believe, the fifth episode, and the final episode, where you just see human slash Spartan on Covenant battles, and they are just epic. They're brutal. They're fast paced. They're destructive. They're everything that you want to see in a Halo film, television, miniseries, limited series, whatever capacity, even in the video games. The battles are just awesome, and and probably some of the best battles I've seen in television. And I've seen quite a few like shows, sci-fi shows with big battles. I mean, I feel like I can equate this to like the battles with like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones battles, when you look at them and you see look back on more adventure or fantasy shows, and you compare the battles to those, yeah, you can see how it's big, brutal, and all of that is not quite down. That's not to say there's not other ones with really good battle sequences like that too, or even better ones. But as far as I've seen, and just the battle sequences are definitely hands down the absolute best that they could possibly be in this series. They are freaking fantastic, and honestly, if somebody cut those three battle sequences out and put them on the YouTube or something, I download it. I would watch it all the time. They just are freaking fantastic and just so well done. It's so destructive, the shit that we want to see in Halo. But having said that, there's a lot that this series does wrong. And I say it's a lot, it is a damn lot. First, one of the things I could say it has a problem with is the identity politics. They push it. They push it. Most of the one of the things that they push and is this whole thing of feminizing or delegating the, I guess you could say, masculine traits of the male characters and propping up a lot of the female characters, making the female characters more vocal, more smarter, more competent, and the male characters to be less competent, have less of a spine, have less of a backbone. The female character, a lot of the female characters, which is kind of weird the way that they play it off in much. I'm not saying that female characters can't hold a powerful position, but when you watch the series, you see that power position is not like earned or anything. It's there simply to showcase women being pushed to the forefront rather than be having an authentic feel to the character. You look at Parangoski, she is literally one of the most wasted characters in this series. She does not hold any weight to her character. I don't believe for 1 second that her character is the admiral of the UNSC. She doesn't have any commanding presence. She doesn't have any weight behind her voice or anything. She's so unsure. When things happen, she doesn't know what to do. And there has not been any moment I don't think I've seen in the series so far that shows that she's just a competent leader. Most of the time you see Parangoski, she's scheming against Halsey's character, and that's it. That's her thing, just to be completely antagonistic. If you look at Maki's character and with the Covenant don't give two shits about humans. They play humans. They fucking hate humans. They wipe out humans first chance they get. And it's an interesting storyline there for Maki's character. Yeah, a character being raised within the the Covenant ranks to use as a sleeper agent to infiltrate the UNSC and stuff like that. That makes sense. It's actually a really good, effective story, but the way it's done here, it just doesn't really make any sense. And then the thing about it is she's a female character, so she's sitting here again, commanding all of these groups and elites that actually fucking hate humans, so there's that in Kwan's character. And then if you look at the characters that she's interacting with, a lot of them are strong female characters. There's an assassin that shows up. That's a woman that just whoops these two guys' ass out the blue. So there's this group of Amazon chicks led by, like the whole identity thing is, and then also they race swapped a couple of characters that don't make any fucking sense for them to have done. They just typically did it to check all boxes, and you can plainly see it clear as day. It's not like for instance, Danny Sapani plays Keys, and Olive Gray plays Miranda. Olive Gray looks like she's mixed. Of course, Halsey's white. Keys is black, at least in this version. And of course, they had to do, interracial couple with it, and it did absolutely nothing to contribute to the characters, nothing to contribute to the story, nothing to contribute to the performances. It's literally just a fucking waste of time. And the person that thought that was a good idea should be punched in the damn throat. Now, that's not to say that these, Sapani and Gray couldn't have played other characters, because I personally think Sapani would have played a really good Sergeant Avery Johnson, who is one of the most prominent characters in the freaking series, next to Keys, and who actually lasted a little bit longer, lived a little bit longer, made it to the third game. Keys died in the first game. You know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't Sapani play that character? But anyways, I have no idea what this is. Thank you. I don't know what this is. But anyways, so having said that, I've been considering heavily about this, what they could have done to potentially done a better job with this series. I personally don't think they could have really did much of anything, because it's just been such a shit show with how they portrayed everything, how the characters and stuff moved, how the characters acted, what their actual overall contributions were to the series. Another thing that I know a lot of people got annoyed at, and it's the fact that the Master Chief whose anonymity comes from the fact, and his personality comes from the fact that he doesn't take his mask off. And it takes a certain amount, a certain personality, a certain character, a certain type of writer to be able to portray a character, give them personality, make them likable, make them interesting, make them competent without them moving their fucking helmet. And Master Chief is definitely one of those characters. And I don't want to make the, I don't want to jump too far into it, but just to go back and look at the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, the character was actually a very interesting character, a very well written character, a very competent character.